Oxidation state. One of the most remarkable features of the transition element is their ability to exhibit a large number of oxidation states. With the exception of few elements, most of these show variable oxidation state. These different oxidation states are related to the electronic configuration of their atoms. The variable oxidation state of d block element are due to the participation of inner ns1d orbital, and in addition to this ns orbital electrons. This because the energy of ns and ns minus 1d orbital are almost equal. So let us study the various oxidation state of first transition series. In case of scandium, it can exhibit electronic configuration 3d1 and 4s2. It will having +2 oxidation state when it can use 4s2 electron, and it can also show +3 oxidation state when it use its 2 s electron and 1 d electron. Then for titanium, it will having electronic configuration 3d2 4s2. It show an oxidation state equal to +2 when it use both 4s2 electron, and it will show +3 oxidation state when it use both s electron and 1 d electron, and it will also show +4 oxidation state when both s and both d electron are used in a chemical bonding. Similarly, the case of the vanadium, it will having 3d3 and 4s2 electronic configuration, and it will show +2 +3 +4 +5 oxidation states. The oxidation state that will depend upon the participation of the electron. If only 2 electrons from 4s2 orbital take part, then it will having +2 oxidation state, and if in addition to this the 3d electron will also take part, then they are having +3 +4 and +5 oxidation states. Next is the chromium, having electronic configuration 3d5 4s1. When it can use only one 4s electron, then it will having oxidation state +1 in bonding, and in addition to it, when the 3d5 electron will also take part, then it will show +2 +3 +4 +5 and +6 oxidation state in chemical bonding. Similarly, in case of manganese, it will having electronic configuration 3d5 4s2, and it show oxidation state from +2 to +7. So it is clear from above discussion that first 5 elements of first transition series up to manganese, in which 3d subshell are not more than half filled. In this case, the minimum oxidation state is corresponding to the electron in outer s subshell, and maximum oxidation state that is given by the sum of the outer s and d electron. In the next element, iron, cobalt, nickel, copper and zinc will take part. in which number of 3d electron is more than 5 and the minimum oxidation state in these cases are also corresponding to the number of outer s electrons. But the maximum oxidation state is not related with the electronic configuration in these cases. In fact, the maximum oxidation state is rarely higher than +2 or +3. For example, in case of iron, which has outer electronic configuration 3d6 4s2, and it will having oxidation state largely confined to +2 or +3. The +4 and +5 and +6 oxidation state are known but are not common, and +8 oxidation state is unknown. So similarly, in case of cobalt, nickel, copper and zinc, they mostly having oxidation state +2, which is the common, and +3. The higher oxidation state, however, is possessed by transition series 2 and transition series 3. It may be noted that the stability of given oxidation state depends on the nature of the element with which the metal is combined. The highest oxidation state are found in compound of fluoride and oxide because fluorine and oxygen are most electronegative elements. The examination of the common oxidation state shown by different transition metals reveal the following fact. The variable oxidation state is due to the participation of inner n-1d and outer ns electron. Except scandium, the lowest and most common oxidation state is +2. It is due to the participation of ns electron. For the first 5 elements up to manganese, the minimum oxidation state is equal to electron in s orbital. The highest oxidation state is equal to sum of outer s and sum of or all of d electron. In the +2 and +3 oxidation state, bonds are mostly ionic. In the compound of higher oxidation state, which are mostly with oxygen and fluoride, in that case bond is formed are essentially covalent. Transition metal also form compound in low oxidation state such as +1 and 0 and in few cases negative also. For example, complex with iron and 5 carbonyl ligand, similarly nickel with 4 carbonyl ligand, it can exhibit 0 oxidation state in both iron and nickel. The relative stability of oxidation state of transition metals. The main factor which determine the relative stability of different oxidation state of transition metals are: the first one, ionization energy. The value of ionization energy gives information regarding the thermodynamic stability of transition metal compound in different oxidation state. It has been established that lesser the ionization energy, the greater is the thermodynamic stability of the compound in that particular oxidation state. So let us consider examples Here first 4 ionization energy of nickel and platinum are considered. So this one is the value of first and second ionization energy in case of nickel, and it is the value of third and fourth ionization energy in case of nickel, and it is the total value. Similarly for platinum, the first and second ionization energy that is corresponding to this value, and third and fourth ionization energy that is corresponding to this, and total value that is corresponding to this figure. And it is clear from above table that sum of the first 2 ionization energy is less for nickel than the platinum. So let us consider the ionization of nickel to nickel 2 plus is energetically favored as compared to platinum. In case of nickel, when nickel is changed to nickel 2 plus, it will having ionization energy 2.49 into 10 raised to the power 3 kilojoule per mole, while in case of platinum, when it changed to platinum 2 plus, having ionization energy that is 2.66 into 10 raised to the power 3 kilojoule per mole. So on the basis of the nickel 2 compound are thermodynamically more stable as comparison to the platinum 2 compounds. And similarly, on the other hand, sum of first fourth ionization energy is less for platinum than nickel. When nickel, it will change to nickel 4 plus, the ionization energy that is corresponding to the 11.29 into 10 raised to the power 3 kilojoule per mole, while in case of platinum, when it changed to platinum 4 plus, the ionization energy that is equal to 9.36 into 10 raised to the power 3 kilojoule per mole. So thermodynamically, the formation of platinum 4 plus that is favored, or we can say the platinum 4 plus compounds are more stable than the nickel 4 plus compounds. Second factor is electrode potential. The electrode potential also helps to predict the stability of the different oxidation state. In general, lower the electrode reduction potential value, greater is the stability of that oxidation state. For example, the electrode potential value of copper plus and copper 2 plus oxidation state in solution are given as: for copper plus, it is equal to 0.52 volt, and for copper 2 plus, it is equal to 0.34 volt. So it is evident from the oxidation state value that copper in +2 oxidation state is more stable in aqueous solution than copper in +1 oxidation state. But however, it may be noted that electrode potential depend upon many factors such as sublimation energy and hydration energy. So let us consider it, the process that is shown by this flow chart. In the first step, the atom get isolated from one another and become independent in the gaseous state, and in this case the atom that will change into gaseous atom. The energy needed for this step is known as enthalpy of sublimation. Then the second step, the outer electron is removed from the isolated atom, and the energy needed in this case that is called ionization energy. Then step number third, The gaseous ion gets hydrated. In this process, energy is known as hydration energy. So the oxidation potential, which gives the tendency of the overall change to occur, depend upon the net effect of these three steps. So the overall energy change delta H, that is equal to delta H sublimation plus ionization energy plus delta H hydration. So smaller the value of total energy change for a particular oxidation state in the aqueous solution, greater will be the stability of that oxidation state, or we can say the stability of oxidation state, that is inversely proportional to delta H. The electrode potential are a measure of total energy. The electrode potential of different metals can be calculated by forming the cell with standard hydrogen electrode. For this purpose, the hydrogen electrode that is coupled with the metal electrode, and finally the EMF of the cell is recorded. Knowing the potential of hydrogen electrode, it is possible to determine the potential of metal electrode. So the value of electrode potential for first transition, that is given in this table, and it is observed from this value. The electrode potential of transition element is low in comparison to element of group number 2, that is the alkaline earth metal. Compared to group 2 element, the transition element has fairly large ionization energy and fairly large enthalpy of atomization. These factors reduce their electrode potential, but their hydration energy are large. Zinc has low enthalpy of atomization and fairly large hydration energy, but it has also low electrode potential, that is minus 0.76, and it is because of its very high ionization energy due to the electronic configuration. It clear from this data that copper has positive reduction potential, that is plus 0.34, and these show that copper is least reactive metal out of first transition series. The positive value of electrode potential of copper, it is due to its high atomization energy and low hydration energy. In general, reducing strength decrease across the series. This is related to the general increase in the sum of first and second ionization energy. It is interesting to note here that the value of reduction potential of manganese, nickel and zinc are more negative than the expected from the general trend. The relatively more negative value of reduction potential for manganese and zinc is due to the stability of half-filled D-shaped shell. The exceptionally high reduction potential value of nickel from the regular trend is related to its highest negative energy of hydration in case of nickel 2+ ions. Third one is the nature of the solvent. The stability of oxidation state in a solvent also depends upon the nature of the solvent, which may itself be susceptible to oxidation or reduction under appropriate conditions. For example, chromium 3+ is stable in water, but chromium 2+ is unstable in it. Similarly, iron 2+ is unstable in aerated water, while iron 3+ is quite stable in it. Formation of the colored ions. Most of the transition metal complexes are colored or form color when dissolved in water. The color of transition element is attributed to the presence of incomplete N-1d shell. This shell contains unpaired electron and can be easily promoted from one energy level to another in the same shell, and it is also called DD transition. The amount of energy required to excite some of the electrons to high energy state within the same D shell correspond to the energy of certain color of the visible light. So this one is the ground state, and they will get the electron in ground state, they will get excited to the high state when they can absorb the radiations, and when these excited electrons come to the ground state, then the absorbed energy that is emitted in the form of the radiation which will having particular color. For example, hydrated cupric compound absorbs radiation corresponding to the red light, and it can transmitted color is greenish blue. So these are the various elements and the color of their compound. In this case, the scandium with 3+ and titanium with 4+, copper plus and zinc 2+, they are colorless due to the absence of the electron. Similarly, the rest of the element possess different color. The observed color of a substance is always complementary color of the color which is observed by the substance. Magnetic properties. The magnetic properties of a compound are measured of the number of unpaired electrons in it. There are two types of substances. The first one, paramagnetic substance. The substance which attracted by the magnetic field are called paramagnetic substance, and this is due to the presence of the unpaired electron in its atomic orbitals. And second one is the diamagnetic substance. The substance which repelled by the magnetic field are diamagnetic substance, and this is due to the absence of the unpaired electron in atomic orbitals. The most of the compound of transition elements are paramagnetic in nature and are attracted by the magnetic field. Since the transition element involves partial filling of d subshell and most of their compound have unpaired electron in d orbital and therefore give rise to the paramagnetic characters. And it has been observed that the magnetic character depend upon the number of the free electron. The larger the number of the unpaired electron in substance, greater is the paramagnetic character and larger is the magnetic moment. The magnetic moment that is expressed in Bohr magneton and it is abbreviated as Bm. The magnetic moment in transition metal is due to the spin only contributions. The magnetic moment of some ion of first transition series are given in this table. In case of scandium 3+, there is no electron in d subshell, so it will having 0 magnetic moment, and similarly for zinc 2+ ion, it will also having 0 unpaired electron, so it will having 0 magnetic moment. So these are the observed value, and these are the theoretical value calculated by the formula. And these values are in good agreement between theoretical and observed value, which can indicate that magnetic moment in transition metal, it arises only from the spin of the electron. So this one is the formula, mu square root n plus 2, which can be used to calculate the magnetic moment. Here n is the number of the free electron in case of transition element. So this one is the relation which can be used to calculate the magnetic moment due to spin contribution. The magnetic field which arouses due to the motion of the spin on its own axis is called the magnetic moment due to spin. So let us consider few examples to calculate the magnetic moment in case of transition element. For examples, titanium 3+, it will having 1 unpaired electron, so put the value of n that is equal to 1, and in this case the magnetic moment that is equal to 1.732. Similarly, in case of vanadium 3+, it will having 2 d unpaired electron, so put the value of n that is equal to 2, and it come near to 2.828 Bohr magneton. So through this way we can calculate the magnetic moment which is due to the spin only in case of transition elements. In addition to paramagnetic and diamagnetic substances, there are few substances such as iron oxide which are highly magnetic in character. They possess 1000 times more magnetic character than ordinary metals. These substances are called ferromagnetic substances. In solid state, metal ion of ferromagnetic substances are grouped together into small regions which is called domain. Thus each domain acts as tiny magnet. In an unmagnetized piece of ferromagnetic substance, the domains are randomly oriented and their magnetic moment gets cancelled. When the substance is placed in magnetic field, all the domains get oriented in the direction of magnetic field. Depending upon the alignment of the magnetic moment of the domain, in magnetic substances they are divided into 3 categories. The first one is the ferromagnetism. In this case, when there is spontaneous alignment of the magnetic moment of the domain in the same direction, so that they reinforce one another, this is called ferromagnetism. This ordering of domain persists even when magnetic field is removed, and the ferromagnetic substance become a permanent magnet in this case. The examples are nickel, cobalt and chromium oxide. The second one is the anti-ferromagnetism. In this case, if the alignment of the magnetic moment of the domain is in a compensatory way so as to give zero net magnetic moment because of cancellation of the individual magnetic moment, then we get antiferromagnetism material. The common example of antiferromagnetic substances are manganese oxide, manganese dioxide, iron oxide, nickel oxide, and vanadium trioxide. The third one is the ferrimagnetism, when the substance in which magnetic moment of the domain are aligned in parallel and antiparallel direction in unequal number, resulting in net magnetic moment. Such substances are called ferrimagnetic substances, and they are weakly attracted by the magnetic field as compared to the ferromagnetism substances. The common examples are magnetite, iron 3 oxygen 4, and ferrite with formula where M2 positive is magnesium, copper, and zinc. So these are the pictures showing alignment of the magnetic moment or domains in first case ferromagnetic substances. All the domains are in same directions. In case of antiferromagnetic, equal number of domains are parallel and in antiparallel direction. In case of ferrimagnetic substances, the domains which are parallel and antiparallel direction are unequal. So it is all about the magnetic properties of transition elements. Tendency to form the complexes. The transition elements have a great tendency to form the complexes. This behavior is also in contrast to S and P block element. The high tendency of transition metal ion to form the complexes, it is due to the small size of atom and ions of transition metals, high nuclear charges, and third one is the availability of the vacant d orbital of appropriate energy. In these complexes, the bond between central transition metal ion and ligand are coordinate covalent bond, and therefore the complexes are called coordinate compound or coordinate complexes. These complexes have different geometry depending upon the coordination number or number of ligand. The common geometry of these complexes are linear, tetrahedral, scareplanus, and octahedral and tetragonal. Though there are wide variation between different family of transition metals, yet the following general trend has been observed. In a transition series, the stability of complex increase with increasing atomic number of element and in particular oxidation state with decreasing size of its atom. In case of metal atom which exhibit more than one oxidation state, the complex with highest charge forms complex of greater stability. For example, cobalt 2+ does not form a stable complex with ammonia, whereas cobalt 3+ form a stable complex with ammonia. So the greater tendency of transition metal to form the complexes is due to its small size, high nuclear charges, and the main factor, that is the availability of the vacant d orbital. Formation of interstitial compounds. The transition metal form interstitial compound with elements such as hydrogen, boron, carbon, and nitrogen. The small atom of these non-metallic element get trapped in vacant space of the lattice of transition element. The interstitial compounds have similar chemical properties as the parent metal, but differ significantly in their physical properties such as density, hardness, and conductivity. For example, steel and cast iron are hard because of the formation of interstitial compound with carbon. So this one is the pure metal and having interstitial spaces, and these interstitial spaces, they are occupied by the non-metals like hydrogen, boron, carbon, and nitrogen to get the interstitial compounds. Catalytic properties. The valence electron, which is responsible for the chemical properties of the atom. The transition metal are good catalysts as they easily give and take electron from other molecules and provide sufficient surface area for the reaction to take place. The most common transition metal used as catalyst are iron, cobalt, nickel, vanadium, chromium, manganese, and platinum. The transition metals show catalytical behavior mainly due to the following reason. The first one is the presence of the vacant d orbitals. They have ability to exhibit variable oxidation balances. They have tendency to form the complexes. The common example of transition metal catalyst is iron molybdenum. It is used in Haber process, which is used to synthesize the ammonia. Nickel, which is used in hydrogenation reaction in organic chemistry. Vanadium pentoxide, used for oxidation of sulfur dioxide to sulfur trioxide, which is used in contact process for manufacturing of the sulfuric acid. Manganese dioxide, used as a catalyst in decomposition of hydrogen peroxide. Cobalt salt, used as catalyst for the decomposition of bleaching powder. Zinc chromate is used in the synthesis of methyl alcohols. The catalytical properties of transition metal is due to the formation of appropriate reaction intermediate with the substrate by using empty d orbital. These intermediate give reaction path of lower activation energy and therefore increase the rate of reaction. For example, during the conversion of sulfur dioxide to trioxide, the vanadium pentoxide will act as a catalyst and it can absorb sulfur dioxide on the surface, and molecule of sulfur dioxide change to sulfur trioxide on its surface, and itself it will change to vanadium tetroxide. The vanadium pentoxide that can regenerate again by the reaction of vanadium tetroxide with oxygen. Similarly, cobalt salt catalyzed decomposition of bleaching powder. As a cobalt, it can easily change from oxidation 2 positive to 3 positive. So these are the different example of transition metal as a catalyst. Alloy formation. The transition metal form large number of alloys. This is due to the fact that transition metal are quite similar in size, and therefore the atom of one metal can substitute the atom of other metal in its crystal lattice. So thus on cooling, a mixture of solution of two or more transition metals, solid alloy are get formed. For example, manganese dissolve in molten iron to form the manganese steel. Such alloy are hard, have high melting point, and are more resistant to corrosion than parent metal. So this one is the pure transition metals, and in this case few of the atom that is replaced by the another transition metal having similar size.